12 News Politics Editor Ted Nesi joins us today to break down Election Day nationally and locally, what this all means. So when we're talking about people locally going to the voting booth yesterday, we kind of expected, based on history, that Rhode Islanders were going to vote Democrat as a state. But we did see more Republicans voting in Rhode Island than in years past. So why do you think that is?
Okay, I think we were seeing signs here in Rhode Island, as well as Massachusetts, of the strength Donald Trump showed from coast to coast in the whole Republican ticket. I mean, you saw I haven't checked the tweaks of the numbers this morning, but when I looked last night, Donald Trump was at the highest share of the vote for a Republican presidential nominee in Rhode Island since 1988, when President George H.W. Bush was elected for the first time. And you saw that in other parts, too. Sheldon Whitehouse's re-election margin was a little lower than it was last time. Seth Magaziner in the more red 2nd district was a little lower. So I think it was a good night for Republicans. I think Trump had coattails, and I think Democrats who've sort of dismissed Trump because of all the controversies and how unorthodox he is have learned yet again that you can't count Donald Trump out. He has an appeal to a lot of voters.
So do you think that people voted Republican in Rhode Island maybe because of Donald Trump as the candidate, or because they wanted the Republican Party in charge?
I think a lot of it is Trump himself. I think you can't take that away. He's a very unique figure. He's charismatic. He's a businessman. People got to know him as a celebrity, right? On The Apprentice, Home Alone 2, for those of us of our age, Kate, right? And so I think people see him differently. Certainly, he has done things that have led to massive criticism, January 6th, et cetera. But for many voters, as we see in these exit polls, it was about the economy. And I think I continue to think this morning, though maybe more data will come in that will change my mind, that nothing hurt Democrats more than that surge in inflation under President Biden, partly driven by the amount of spending Democrats in Congress approved in his first year or two.
So part of, like you said, his appeal, President Trump's appeal, is that he's not the typical politician. So moving forward, is there any expectation as to what he should do or what he will do to appeal to Democrats here locally?
Well, it's an interesting moment, Kate, right? Because if you think about it, Trump in 2016, he wins the Electoral College, but loses the popular vote pretty badly to Hillary Clinton. And then, of course, we know how the 2020 ended. Trump has won today. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about his victory. So it's an opportunity for Trump, if he wants to try to maybe reach out some more. I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't know if he wants to do that. This is still Donald Trump, but he's in a different place now than he was in 2016.
All right, Ted Nesi, looking forward to all your analysis throughout the day today, and we are expected to hear from the Vice President this afternoon, so I'm sure you'll be having reaction to that as well later today.
I'll be back all afternoon.
All right, thanks, Ted.